Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of Real Estate Realities with the Rebel Broker. My name is Robert Whitelaw and I am the Rebel Broker, licensed real estate broker in the state of California, member of the National Association of Realtors. But please don't hold that against me. Welcome to it, folks. We have got some super interesting news to share today. Everything is becoming really difficult to anticipate. The last time we talked, there were interesting numbers relating to where inventory was versus where sales actually are, and days on market. We're getting lower inventory numbers, but we're getting faster homes sold times. We're getting relatively higher prices. It's still down a little bit, but it's right around 100%. People are getting asking prices, and I just came across some news that is really amazing, and I think calibrates us to where real estate is right now. And it's going to be interesting to see how this news carries forward. Right when we were talking about. When we were talking about those most recent statistics, we were definitely pointing out that those were from March, right? And we hadn't gotten super recent numbers yet. Well, now we've got some April numbers. The anecdotal things, the anecdotal and also the local data I have on my market. Now, if you missed it, I did my monthly Facebook Live real estate chat. I call it Real Estate and Coffee, or Coffee and Real Estate. If you want to join me there, I usually promote it on Facebook and Instagram. So you can follow me on Instagram at Rebel Broker on Instagram. But in any event, came across some interesting news that really informs where real estate is right now and where it's likely to go. And again, these are national numbers. So you're going to want to check your local market to see what the ground truth is right where you live. But according to an article from Redfin, 41% of Redfin offers faced bidding wars in late April, early May amid coronavirus pandemic. Now, this is the most up-to-date information we have relating to the whole multiple offer scenarios. I've seen anecdotally this happen in a few cases, but this is amazing to see that in their nationwide survey, they're seeing over 41%. It's actually 41.1% of Redfin offers faced competition in the 4 weeks ending on May 10th. In a handful of metros, the bidding war rate was above 60%. So keep that in mind. For those folks who are out there trying to buy, many of them, almost the majority across the country and more, and well into the majority in some metro areas, are absolutely seeing multiple offer scenarios where they have to compete against multiple buyers on a property and try to beat out that highest price. And remember, the one thing that we do know is the shortage of inventory. We've seen the construction is now down, new home starts is down, and we're seeing a reluctance on the part of sellers to come onto the market. So at a rate much greater than we're seeing any kind of a decrease in the number of buyers. I mean, you could make an argument based on some numbers that we've seen a slight drop in buyers by maybe 1%, 1.5%, but nothing that will impact the dramatic loss in inventory that we're seeing. The article goes on to state that even before the novel coronavirus took hold in the United States, home supply was at its lowest point in 7 years. We covered that here on this show. The recent lack of new listings, they hit a low point with a 50% year-over-year decline during the second week of April, and we're still down 30% year-over-year in the first week of May, has made the shortage even more severe. So nationally, we're seeing pretty much the same data I'm seeing here in my local market in Morgan Hill and in Santa Clara County. And the markets that were the most competitive, and this isn't going to surprise you, although it's interesting to look at these other markets, Boston had the highest rate of competition in the 4 weeks ending May 10th, with 63.3% of offers written on behalf of their home buying customers facing bidding wars, so competing against someone else for the same home. San Francisco and Fort Worth, Texas are close behind with 63% and 62.2%. Then come two coastal metros. I don't know why they call this a coastal metro. San Jose is not a coastal metro. We're not on the coast. There's no coast. Got to drive a ways to get to the coast. But anyway, Be that as it may, San Jose, 59.4% saw competition, so just under 60%. And then finally, Providence, Rhode Island is at 52.8%, which rounded out the list of metro areas. And this absolutely does not surprise me one bit. My ground truth, what I've been seeing in my data, indicates that this is right on the money. And it's easy to see, even if you're someone who's not working with an agent, if you've used some of the tools I've suggested in the past, whether it's Realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow, whatever it might be, and you've been tracking properties that you're interested in, you can see that these properties are tending to go relatively quickly. And if you stay connected, and I realize this is harder to track, you can oftentimes find out what it sold for by looking at the bottom row, the bottom chunk of data on a given property on when it last sold and for how much, because that's actually public information here in California. Now, you can't do that in Fort Worth, Texas, because that's not public information. That's true of all of Texas. But let's cover some of these other headlines, because these all kind of dovetail together in a way that paints a very interesting picture. I know that we've talked here about a softening in the second half of 2020. We'll see how this proceeds. I think that there are things in the wind that could be concerning, because remember, right now it's all about the inventory numbers. So that's really what's making this happen. There's just far fewer homes on the market than there are people wanting to buy on the market. From CNBC, the headline is, home buyers return to the market faster than anticipated. Something we've been talking about here in terms of me sharing what I'm seeing in the local markets, the amount of contacts I'm getting from buyers. As I've mentioned, I have a lot of different pipelines where I try to reach out to potential clients, whether they're buyers, sellers, or investors. And buyers have been super strong. In fact, the strongest pipeline I have is my advertising that tends to be aimed more at buyers. A lot softer in terms of folks who might want to sell their home. So that's reflected here, I think, as well. And then in the final article I wanted to cover today, just real quick, bidding wars in a pandemic, housing is heating up. CNBC was reporting this as well. More than 41% of homes faced bidding wars in the 4 weeks. They were just quoting Redfin. And that's up from just 9% in January before the pandemic hit. So I think that sets the stage for you, right? The biggest thing that changed, the biggest influence here has really been this inventory problem. New listings were down 29% annually. Now, this is the first time I've seen a national number relating to this, and I'm glad they're sharing it, because this is where the big problem is going to come in. We already know we're going to see not as many new homes coming onto the market. And what's really creepy is the new homes I am seeing coming up. I subscribe to a lot of lists where I get to see what's in the works for new home construction. They all tend to be higher end homes. These are not homes even aimed at the middle of the field in terms of the market. They're all aimed at these higher end priced neighborhoods and homes that just aren't really going to help alleviate the housing needs of the majority of the people who are out here shopping. But new listings were down 29% annually for the week of May 9th. So that's extremely recent data. That's only 11 days ago. So all of the signs are that we are going to see very low inventory. So if you're a buyer, this makes things really tough for you in a lot of different marketplaces. There's a lot of competition. It means that you might have to try to exercise some of the tips and techniques that I've suggested on the show before. I think I mentioned on the last show, try to find properties that don't fit the most demanded search strings, right? Everybody wants that 3-bedroom, 2-bath. That's where everyone starts. I think I mentioned this either last show or the show before, and I don't think I have right now today. I did a review of my currently active buyers, meaning folks who are checking the portal every single day and they're putting comments in relating to properties that are showing up in their search. I believe there's about 80 of them, and not one of them has less than 3 bedrooms and 2 baths as their search. The vast majority of them are 3-bed, 2-bath. I think I have one person in there with a 4-bed minimum, and everybody else is 3 beds, 2 baths. So if that's even slightly representative, if you can find a property where you can get it where it's a 2-bedroom, the bedroom number is going to be more typically than the bathroom number, but I think the lowest people tend to go when they're doing searches for me is 1.5 baths. So take that route. See if you can't make that work for you, because what you might be able to do is get a better deal on a home, have less competition for that home to purchase it, and if you buy it and it has the right lot layout, you could remodel that home down the road and end up making more on that remodeling cost to if you decide to sell the home. So in other words, it would pay for itself in a lot of cases. That's it for today. I thought these were some interesting numbers to share. I hope that they are interesting to you. It's definitely crazy to watch how this market is unfolding. So many expectations for this marketplace in terms of it really crashing and burning just aren't really coming to fruition. And on this show, we've pretty much expressed that we didn't think we were going to see a crash and burn scenario because it wasn't a real estate based problem. But here's the one thing to keep an eye on, and I mentioned this before: foreclosures. We have tons of folks out of work right now. I do not know how many jobs are going to come back when this is over, but it's not going to be all of them. And depending on how many of those folks that are employed have a mortgage to pay, and I'm betting it's a lot of them. And once we get past the delays, right, because we're in that situation where everyone's trying to delay foreclosure proceedings. In fact, I think they're even blocked right now from even happening. So at some point, and this is something we're not going to see for months, even if there weren't any blocks on doing foreclosures, we really wouldn't see much mention of it in a market statistic for 3 months. I wouldn't be surprised if in, say, 6 months from now, we start to see a big uptick in the number of properties that are potentially being foreclosed on. But again, that's all going to depend on how roaring back the job situation comes. So keep an eye out for that. I know I am, and of course I'll share that data with you as soon as I see anything on it. The only other thing I'd mention, I guess, is I have seen an uptick in the number of buyers who want to specifically search for foreclosures. We haven't seen a big increase in foreclosures coming onto the market or anything to be concerned about. But it's interesting that there are buyers out there who are calibrated to the idea that something might be coming on that front. All right, as usual, the goal is to leave you with more knowledge than I take up in your time. I hope we've achieved that today. Thanks again for listening, and I'll talk to you all next time.